Hey, everybody. My name's Herbert, and welcome. This is the regular 15-minute daily update that we've been doing every day at 12 noon Pacific. Today, every Thursday, we've got Mathias Fons joining us, and it's a good day because while we've had quite a very difficult last few days with the stock crashing the way it is, now we know why. But in the last day, just last night and this morning, we actually received some great news. So welcome, Mathias, and go ahead and hit me. You just told me there was a fantastic news that you just retweeted literally 2 minutes ago. What was that?
Yeah. So Tesla just reported that they hit 3,000 production rate of the Model Y in Giga Berlin. So that's
Yeah.
good news. Yeah.
Is that earlier or than you expected, or exactly what you were thinking by now?
Approximately at the time that I expected. So that's good.
Yeah. And we're expecting that they're going to hit 5,000 per week, probably in the next couple months, right? And by first quarter?
I think in the middle of January, actually, because of the third shift.
Okay. So things are starting to look good. And we've got some good news about Giga Shanghai production delivery as well in December. We'll get there shortly. But the news last night was potentially this Giga Mexico that people are talking about. And so this is the news that Tesla acquired land in Mexico, reached a deal to build a factory in Nuevo Leon in early 2023. That's very soon. They're going to start soon. The investment is expected to be finalized in the coming weeks, and the announcement is expected by the end of this year. I hope. Yep. End of this year, right? So earlier this year in July, Tesla struck a deal with the state to have their own Tesla lane at the US-Mexico border. We had all heard about that. And they called it an incentive for Tesla at the time. Looks like the incentive paid off. Now, Matthias, saw you retweeted this, but you put the word rumor.
Mm-hmm.
And what was your thoughts here?
Yeah. So it's like basically a reviewed document. Tesla hasn't said anything. An additional context would be that Tasmanian actually reported that it's to assemble the factories to assemble cargo trucks, which in Tesla's case would be the Semi. So that's another little twist to this.
Yeah.
It's still a rumor, but good news. And I think a lot of Tesla bulls and Elon even said that they were looking to announce a factory by the end of this year, I think 3 or 4 months ago. So this is in line with what Elon has said. So I hope it's right. Interesting, for sure.
Okay. Well, this is good news. So there's Giga Mexico, right? I still think we're still on track for potentially a Giga Canada. We know that he was at Indonesia and the prime minister there was courting him. We know that so was South Korea. So all sorts of things might be happening. And I hope it's not just one Gigafactory announced, but I guess so. We're pretty well in the last 2 weeks. All right. So we've got Tesla Boomer Papa. This is Tesla Boomer Papa's husband. And he tweeted out this morning that he watched Gary Black on CNBC. And I know that Alexandra and Tesla Boomer Papa, they like to have fun and they call it CNBS. But Gary Black was on video and he set the record straight. He was talking about the absolute best company you can find on any metric. Fundamentals are what matter, not the Twitter noise, which Elon Musk will fix and put a CEO in. I mean, we have to keep reminding folks that this is temporary. He does intend to have a new CEO of Twitter. It's going to happen in 3 months, maybe maximum 6 months. And this is all going to move forward. And what I loved about Gary Black, and when I watched it, was he reiterated his target of 550, Tesla stock at 550, which is so great because it's still based on fundamentals, not the stock price, which we all know analysts do. What was your reaction?
I thought it was a pretty good interview, and Gary stayed calm. He talked about fundamentals. I think he did great. A lot better than Gordon Johnson, that's for sure. So.
Gordon Johnson's he's I think the shorts are definitely frenzy right now. They're taking advantage of this opportunity and they're going out strong. So we need to fight back, get back out there. But thank you so much, Tesla Boomer Papa. That was great. So Matthias, you yourself, of course, tweeted this out. We all found out late last night that Elon was the one selling the shares. So tell me what you calculated.
Yeah, sure. So I just went to the SEC Gov website and looked at the last filing of 2021, multiplied the shares by 3, because we got a split in the meantime, and it looks like Elon owned about 531 million by the start of this year, or rather at the end of last year. And today he's down to 423 million. So a drop of a little over 20% of his Tesla stake this year only. So yeah.
Oh, right.
Some context.
Let me go ahead and show your beautiful chart that you did. You are just on fire, Mathias. Your Twitter account has gone crazy. What made you decide to get started before we show this? But or why don't you talk about this and then we'll go to that.
Okay, yeah, sure. So that just shows that 28th of December was the last filing from Elon Musk with the SEC, 4K filing. And to yesterday's filing on Wednesday showcased that the last batch was sold. He had 423 million shares left. So this is a minus 20% drop. With regards to why I started tweeting, it was basically because I learned everything that I know from people like Hey Dave, Rob Maurer, Alexandra, the accountant, other people on Twitter. And I just thought, hey, you know what? I'm spending so much time on this. Why don't I just publish stuff? So I've decided to do that. So yeah.
So yeah, you've made a commitment to do one chart or analysis per day, and you're kicking out of the park.
Per weekday. Yeah.
Okay, fine. And you've got like 10,000 followers in like 2 months or something like that. I'm a little jealous. So you've done great, but you add real value. So
thanks.
Okay, so in terms of like Elon and selling shares, so you said it's only a 20% drop, and prior to that, you actually you said here that he still owns 20% of Tesla.
His holding is down 20%.
Oh, 20 his holding. Okay, so I saw that his total holdings now is at 13%, and it went total. He used to be at 20 something percent. Now he's at 13%. So over time.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think Elon is trying to just preach. No, he's doing what he preaches, which is basically just not having leverage. I think he's closing out loans with regards to Twitter. I don't think the cash burn is as bad at Twitter that people are expecting. So I think it's just him making sure that he doesn't have high interest debt, or perhaps that he's closing out any fixed interest debt at cents to the dollar. I know that the banks that did the Twitter financing are taking a huge loss on it. So if he can buy out some debt cheap, I mean, that makes sense for him. I'm personally not offended at all. So fine by me.
Yeah, it's turned out to be very expensive, this Twitter purchase for him, especially selling at the absolute low 160. What's your thoughts on whether or not it can even fall further?
I don't know what happens short term. I think the share price is detached from reality, and when stuff like that happens, I think it's hard figuring out where's the bottom. I think Tesla should trade a lot higher than it is right now. I mean, assuming $9 of diluted GAAP EPS next year, you'd have a share price of around $540 if you have like a 60p ratio in January 24. So I mean, I think there's a lot of upside. The downside is limited. I actually bought some Tesla this morning.
Did you?
So, yeah.
Nice. Okay. This is Raymond Chad says, if we average Gary Black's price target with Gordon Johnson's, we get 300. So, okay, that's a way to think about it. And then, Tesla talk, won't he gain more shares as part of the CEO compensation package? What's your thinking on that?
Yeah. I think that's a really good question. I'm working with the accountant on something. So follow me on Twitter, and I'll give you a real good answer to that.
You, Alexandra, the accountant. Gosh, you guys are pretty cool. Okay, that's pretty awesome, man. So this is a tweet from Alexandra. Just a quick reminder. Volume will be crazy today and tomorrow. So she was a fund manager herself, and she's saying that ETFs and funds indexed on the S&P 500 need to rebalance quarterly and now have to sell Tesla. Tesla stock lost 45% in the last 3 months, S&P only 5%. And she thinks that that's one of the reasons why the volume is so high. but I heard that you might have a different opinion or didn't know.
Yeah. So first of all, Alexander is super smart. So I
Yep.
believe I almost take everything that she says at face value. What I can say is that the first hour of Tesla trading, we had above 50% of the daily volume in the first hour. So volume this morning was absolutely nuts. It has
Right.
died down somewhat throughout the day. Another data point that I would look at is that we have quadruple witching, which happens on the third Friday of December, which is tomorrow. And I think there's about $4 trillion of option premium that's expiring. So that usually leads to a lot of volume. So I think that's an extra caveat to the high volume that we're seeing.
So I guess this is what we should expect, but a lot of volatility this week specifically. Now, some people are still kind of holding out hope that there might be some sort of buyback, but Alexander and you have been saying that's not going to happen because this Friday is basically the only that last day they could do it if they did, and it wouldn't make sense to do it now. Is there any kind of like, I know it might look bad, but there's nothing illegal if Elon sells, makes the price fall, and then Tesla buys as a buyback, like let's say today, tomorrow. Is that possible?
Yeah, so I think that a buyback is going to be announced either at Q4 or Q1, unless we hear something.
You still think it might happen now?
Yeah, so Q4 earnings would have
Q4 earnings.
I would think it would be announced at the call potentially,
Okay.
or Q1. So that would be around a month from now, a little bit over a month from now, and then perhaps 4 months from now at Q1 earnings call. I still think that's possible, but if we see a lot of more like gigafactory announcements or something like that where they need a lot of cash, I'm not certain that it happens, but that's just something to keep in mind. So
yeah, okay,
they surely can buy back a lot of stock. They have like crazy free cash flow. They can buy back 10 billion without blinking an eye. So
okay, yeah. When you made that comment, I mean, there's more people would actually say that it doesn't matter if they keep announcing more gigafactories. They have enough cash to do both. Announce gigafactories and do buybacks. And that's where there's a big disconnect. There's a lot of people who think, oh, you can only choose between one. Mm-hmm. No, the only reason they're not going to do the buyback is because they want to have huge cash on hand in case of a force majeure. Not that they need it to buy or do R&D to build more products. That's not what it's for. They have enough for that.
Yeah, so I would also add that when you do scale factories, you're increasing your risk. So
true.
I think that it makes sense that if you're going out and announcing 2 gigafactories, the expenses won't hit the book right away, but you're increasing your risk over a, let's say, 16-month period. So you'd probably not announce 2 gigas and then announce a 10 billion buyback. You might announce 2 gigas, see how things are working out, and then a buyback later that year or something like that. That's how I look at it.
No, that's a very, very good point. When Giga Texas, Giga Berlin were at their peak of just struggling, I mean, Elon was very concerned. He was very stressed, and he was saying he was living in a factory again. They were losing millions and millions per day, and it could go wrong, especially if that's on top of a major recession. So they need that. That's a good point. Okay, Mathias, love it. That's a good point. I haven't heard anybody else actually say that. So that's good. Okay. So good news. Okay. Today's theme is all these good news. And then this one is another one that came out, right? So this is the first time I'm reading it. So just, bear with me, but it says Tesla told Beijing News that the delivery wave at the end of the quarter, Tesla will make every effort to produce in December this year, bringing a successful end to 2022. So there has been rumors that people are saying, maybe not even rumors, there's some signs that there's a potential reduction in shifts in Tesla Shanghai right now, this quarter, this month, and that there's going to be less deliveries as they're thinking. And then, so this is the news article. We translated it from Chinese, and it says, Tesla responds to the measures to resume work and production. Full production will be fully produced in December. Business activities are gradually resumed, including the COVID. COVID has been relaxed quite significantly. So what is your take on what's happening with production and deliveries?
Sure. So I would temper my expectations for a record. I think November is going to be the best. I don't think December is gonna be close. I'd also say that Xi Jinping and oh yeah, so I guess this is a video.
Yeah, I'll play it right after you. Just go ahead and
All right,
complete
yeah.
your thought.
So Xi Jinping and the Chinese Communist Party has gone out to say multiple times that they want to increase domestic demand. So I think it's going to be interesting whether we see a renewal of the new electric vehicle credit that China has had this year that sets to expire. So that's a huge data point that I'm keeping my eyes on. I think that it's a good sign that Tesla are responding to these kinds of news, but I personally don't think that we're going to see a record this quarter.
Yeah. Well, you're the one that sent me this video, so why don't I play the video?
This month. We're not going to see a record this month. We're going to see a record this quarter from China, surely. Yeah.
Okay, you're the one that sent me this video, so I'm going to play it and you go and talk over it. But this video is, I'm watching this video, like I'm seeing real things. So go ahead and tell me what you're seeing here.
Yeah, sure. So what we're seeing is a bunch of Teslas with Europe indications, which just shows that Tesla is still flattening out the delivery curve. Usually Tesla wouldn't want to export in December. They do a lot of domestic deliveries. So this is just a sign that they're also exporting. So those cars are going to be in transit, which means that they're not going to be counted as delivered cars in Q4, but will be counted as deliveries in Q1
I
next
see.
year. So,
darn it, not going to be counting Q4.
I don't really. It doesn't matter. I mean, I'm a long-term investor. As long as the trajectory is good, I don't really care if it hits the books Q4 or Q1. Don't care.
Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Let's end with this. Rocky asks, who is Fons DK? I've never heard of this guy. Well, you know what? He showed up 2 months ago. Like he decided to start tweeting. You take a look at his tweets every single day. It's amazing. Now he's like everywhere. So I discovered you. I did not. I'm just joking. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Mathias will join us every Thursday. Appreciate it. Great, good news is something that we all needed to hear today. Thanks, everybody.